Okay, guys, welcome to Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions live chat. And I've got Chicken Nugget here. And we're going to be talking today about stinky bathrooms, drains. And so George and I have had a bit of an experience with that, and I thought I'd share it with you. George and I actually met back about 7 years ago, and our daughters go to the same school. And George and I, from the moment we met, it was at a gathering at the school. We clicked, and so we've been very good friends since. And so we've had a bit of experience between each other as well, some good and bad. Back about, I think it was about 5 years ago, was it, George?
Time flies, definitely time flies. But just a bit of a shout out, g'day to all the live YouTubers. Good evening, good morning, wherever around the world. Officially, g'day, and thanks for the invite, Musa.
Thanks for being with us, George. So George and I met, as I said, 7 years ago. And around about 5 years ago, probably a little bit more now, George had an accident where his stove caught on fire, and he didn't have a fire blanket, and basically grabbed the oil that was burning and ran outside with the pot and threw it outside, saved the house, but didn't save himself, and received third-degree burns to a large part of his body. So that was quite an experience for George. I went to hospital pretty much straight away as soon as I found out. And George obviously was suffering quite bad. If anyone's ever had any kind of burns, you know that within the first few minutes, probably the first hour, it becomes like fire. It really burns. And so I asked George how did he cope with it, and he said he fainted. Is that correct?
Yeah, I went through a stage of shock. I think the initial stage of accepting the reality of the burns, and to the shock moment was literally within minutes. So it was definitely a shock.
Wow, I don't know how you did it actually, because George wears the scars on his arms, his leg, his stomach. Anyway, so there was a period where about 6 months where George was transitioning from coping with this new life of injury, and so I found myself helping him through this on an emotional level, and through even though he didn't go through depression, he was in a really low time, and personally I know a bit about depression, and so I helped him through it. And so George, from that point, realized that maybe I might need to go on radio and talk about it. So George was a presenter on Voice of Charity, which was a program that sort of brings light to people in many different aspects and of the faith and other things. And so George asked me to come on that program and talk about depression, which I did 5 years ago, actually before my back injury. And so and the great thing about coming out of my injury is that I actually didn't go through depression, but I've suffered a lot in my lifetime. And so the reason I didn't go through depression is because I knew what causes depression, and I was able to get out of that rut pretty quickly. Anyway, and once again, that's why I'm YouTubing. So a lot of you know that. Thanks to Giuseppe, you're on. I'm just looking at all the people who are on. Xiaomin, Joseph Suka, Anthony.
We got some people going through.
So look, guys, I'm very happy the way the YouTubing is going. Giuseppe made a comment on my oil timber video, something about my back. And Giuseppe, thank you very much for that. It shows that people understand that these videos are not easy for me to make, but I make them. And it looks really good when I do a time lapse. It looks like I'm really good and really fast, but can I tell you, that time lapse is over a long period, and it takes it down to 30 seconds, and it looks good. So anyway, regardless, so George and I became close friends. And so when I started YouTubing, I've got to tell you just quickly, there were people writing comments, and there was one particular one from a guy named Chicken Nugget. And so now Chicken Nugget was elusive to me because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, who is Chicken Nugget? I'm still trying to find out as of today. I think probably it was Joe Suka, and I'm still trying to find out today who's Chicken Nugget.
Anyway, so I was ringing around people for like literally 4 weeks. Who's this Chicken Nugget guy? And then Joe Suka said to me, Musa, who loves chicken, eating chicken, El Jana and garlic sauce and all this kind of thing? And I thought, no, it can't be George. No way. Anyway, so I ring up and I said, are you Chicken Nugget? And I had the funniest reaction. I did straight away. I knew it was George. So anyway, welcome Chicken Nugget. So I refer to him mainly as Chicken Nugget, by the way. So as I said, we've become very good friends, as like a lot of guys who are watching today. And when I did the video on stinky, smelly bathroom drains, it was mainly because of my renovation background. So the biggest question I was ever asked in renovation is, why is my bathrooms and laundry and kitchens and powder rooms stink? And it's a very easy answer. It wasn't brain, surgery. It was actually very simple answer. Everything needs maintenance, and drains need maintenance. And so George had a major problem with one of his drains, and we couldn't solve it. So we researched it. I did a bit of research, and I went back to George, and I said, George, how about this thing called a HEPO valve? And George went and bought it. He put it on, and the rest was history.
No, it was a godsend. So I got to commend Musa. So without going to the nitty gritty, but essentially I had a bathroom that needed to be completely changed and renovated. And I didn't want to dig too deep, and I didn't want to get an official trap, because that would require me to go deeper into the actual concrete, into the slab. And so I asked Musa, knowing his expertise, what can I do to remedy and ameliorate these scenarios? And Musa goes, look, give me some time. And knowing Musa, because he's the jack of trade, knows it all, said, George, give me some time.
Not all, but I do discover things.
As you go. But in this case, he gave me a call and said, look, there's this kind of device. We didn't know the name there and then, but essentially it's a valve, it's a waterless valve with a membrane airtight seal. Waterless, meaning you don't need the water, and you can use it vertically, horizontally, and you can use it in caravans, houses, under the basins, and obviously, particularly in my case, under the original bathtub, which essentially became the floor waste of a shower. So I purchased it. It was called HEPO, as Musa just alluded, which we will obviously see some of the links. The link will also be on the original video, how to fix a smelly drain, which obviously you can purchase on Amazon. And
I'll put that link in, by the way, on this live chat, so you can actually go in and get that link for the video to understand how to fix a smelly drain. Also, how what to buy. So the HEPO valve, we've got a link there for it. So
if I could just illustrate, it's literally only 25 centimeters in length, so it's relatively small compared to an actual official trap that you see from a plumber that takes a lot of leverage and space. So this device, technically, it can be used anywhere, vertically, horizontally. It saved me. I've got it today, and it does what it does. As the illustration, it's waterless valve. It seals itself with a membrane, and I'm just surprised it's not really. We don't really hear about it anywhere else.
There are different brands on the market too, not just HEPO. So what it does is water goes down this. It's a membrane. It's like a plastic or rubber. It's actually more like a rubber. So water goes down, but there's a tight valve on the bottom, and it actually so the water will go through, just only a little bit of gravity. It only needs a bit of weight, and the gravity will feed it through, and then it seals back off.
And it's airtight. I've had it for 4 years now, and I've checked it this morning. It still seals well. So 4 years on, it's been heavily used. And the good thing is,
1 year, isn't it?
Well, I've been using it for 4 years. And the good thing about it is you can always go back in there and just remove it, change it. And so it's accessible to obviously, if I want to reuse it more and more and get new ones and replace it as we go.
They like my cup. Do you want to show them your cup, George?
I do. So that is Mr. Cool.
Sorry, we're going to use another one, but George felt that Mr. Cool was more appropriate. Anyway, I was going to say, did anyone watch the last video that we put out, the Making the Muda video? I'll just wait for some responses there.
I did.
So we're going to have a live chat with Bet and Riyadh in the future. So they're a bit reluctant, but that was a really funny video to make. I enjoyed making it, and the response was very funny, very real, by the way, very real. Riyadh was very shy. He's never shy, and he became shy as soon as the camera was there. And I asked him prior to the video, would you like a cup of coffee? Because I'd already made it on video. And the
bloopers were funny.
Yeah. Thanks, Giuseppe. And so, anyway, and so as soon as the video came on him, I said, guys, would you like a coffee? And he'd already said that he'd prefer a tea prior to the video. And so when I asked him, he just went tongue-tied and didn't know what to say. And we just killed ourselves laughing because he just got embarrassed. And Bet came to the party. I mean, she was amazing. She saved it. She asked me the question. She liked the consistency of the Namura, and anyway, it was really good. I mean, there was 7 minutes of footage taken down to a blooper of, I think, 1 minute or something. Yeah. Anyway, that was hilarious. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. And saying that, I'm just about to reach over
and grab some.
So I made a new batch of Namura. And I still haven't changed my elements yet, and they're going to be changed hopefully soon.
So I'm not going to say no to this.
It usually does.
But
anyway,
today and this morning.
Have you guys tried this dish before?
Cheers.
Sorry, George.
Cheers.
So welcome to you guys who just come on. So this is Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions live chat, and I've got Chicken Nugget here, and we're talking about smelly drains, but we're having a bit of a break with our Lebanese sweets. So Namura is actually a very traditional Arabic, I'll use the word Arabic, not Lebanese, but Arabic sweet. But it's also, there's a lot of Arabic, thanks, George. There's a lot of Arabic speaking countries in Africa as well. So it's very popular in Africa, especially in Egypt and where is it? Sudan? No, not Sudan. Yeah, Sudan, Libya. So a lot of countries make this particular.
Yeah, I was actually seeing some colleagues in Morocco when I was in my previous employment, and they would love these sweets.
Yeah.
So this is popular in all those regions, and you can't say no to them. The problem is one's not enough. You're going to have multiple, especially your one. Yeah.
But they're heart starters. Seriously, they're full of sugar. They're really good. So if you've got a problem with diabetes or a heart problem, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. And I shouldn't laugh, but anyway. Mr. Nugget. Thanks, Dave. Hey, JB. Very good to have you guys. Thank you. Thanks for all your support too, by the way. I really do appreciate it. The subscriber count is growing. So we're only fairly new. So I've been YouTubing since mid-August. So the 15th of August, special day for me, and for a lot of people actually. And so it was a slow start, but it's now building momentum. So we're now at, I think at last count, 760 something subscribers. I think 67, and it's growing. But I do ask if you guys can share the videos that I do make, that we make. And like the videos, because the algorithm of YouTube works with a lot of hits, watch time, and also thumbs up. And subscribers also help the algorithm as well. And also, if you have your notifications turned off, you won't get the notifications. So I think only about, looking at the studio, I have less than 10% of my subscribers that have their notifications on. So you've got to put the notifications on. Only if you want to, though, because you will get notifications for all your subscribed what's called channels. So you've got to be really careful. If you don't want the notifications, then don't put it on if you're going to get annoyed. But if you do only have a couple of subscribed channels, then put the notification bell on and you'll get it.
I was just going to say the notification requirement on the phone, just the phone alone, it's kind of quite simple and user-friendly. I've got to say, definitely user-friendly. So to actually go on there and activate the notification bell. So when there is a new video that comes from Musa, and particularly live videos, that we're alerted from a little signal notification, and indeed helps Musa.
Yeah. But again, we've got another couple of guys coming on. So yeah, thanks for joining us at Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions live chat. So we've got Chicken Nugget here, and we're talking about smelly bathrooms. So we're going back and forth and talking about a couple of things. So I was saying earlier that the biggest question I was asked about smelly bathrooms. Now, I renovated a lot of bathrooms, and I really enjoyed it. And the only reason I changed my career path is because I had a sore foot called plantar fasciitis, because I stood around, I think it's something that can happen to anyone, but as you get older, it's more prominent. So I had a plantar fasciitis in my right foot, and so the doctor said I needed a break. And at just that point, I had an opportunity where someone asked me to start a new company for them in a warehouse, and so and George was actually instrumental in that, because George, actually I forgot to mention, I'll come back to it in a sec, but so I finished doing bathroom renovations, and that's actually where I injured my back in the warehouse. And I'll be doing a future live chat on that with my doctor, Dr. Penner, who's become a very good friend of mine. and he's going to talk about back injuries and also what you can do to prevent and to do before it gets to the point where I left it, where I had a compressed nerve or spine, and I had to have emergency surgery, and now I pay the price of the residual nerve damage. So anyway, I enjoyed bathroom renovations a lot, and I got a lot out of it. But I've been renovating bathrooms since I was 14 years old. But I've also been in the corporate world. My background is also dressmaking, and so I was in marketing and sales for a long, long time. So I'd build houses and do a professional job at the same time. So I put a lot on my plate, and it's probably not advisable if you don't want to stress your family out. And I did stress my family, so apologies. Anyway, so the biggest problem, some people renovate their bathrooms, by the way, when they don't need to. And so my advice is I use what they call a soft sell. I never, ever sell hard. It's just not my character. I like people to work out the solutions for themselves. So I give them solutions and they work out what's good for them. So basically, I would show them and give them all the ideas and get them to make the choice that suited their criteria. And so, so smelly bathrooms, generally speaking, is because they're clogged in the drains. So, which
is quite common.
It's so common.
Yeah.
It's so common. It's so easy to fix smell in the bathroom. I was hoping Gary, one of my mates, was going to come on. He was asking me. We were in Bush Care group together, and Gary was telling me for weeks and weeks he couldn't fix this problem, and he went under the house to do this, that, and the other. And I don't know what the actual resolution was for him, but he ended up fixing the problem. But I didn't actually get the final result, why or how. Sometimes you do need to get a plumber in, probably 5% of the time. 95% of the time, you clean the drain out, take all the hairs out, because that's the most problem. In the kitchen sink is usually the fats and the food, and the laundry is just, the fluff and the hairs. So you just need to take it out. Some people use, what did I say?
So there's two scenarios. For the Basin, you've got the baking powder.
And you can use that on the floor as well.
On the floor, and you've got the vinegar. And then the question I was going to ask you, Moose, and some of the listeners and viewers in particular might be asking is it hot water after, or is it cold water after? And how long do you put the water after? How long do you wait for the fizz to come through from the baking?
Okay, the most important part is the vinegar reacting with the baking powder. That's actually what does the job. The reason you'd use hot water, because all that residue that's on the walls, that's from those natural products that we're using these days, because we're not using chemically based products these days. It's all natural, and it breaks down. The bacteria grows, the smells grow. So what you've got to do is first take out the blockages so they don't trap those products to stick to that and then grow and smell. So if you put baking powder, vinegar, and hot water, and you don't take out the obstruction, it's going to come back in 2 months again. Yeah. It's going to keep coming back. It's not a solution. It's just a quick fix. So it is better to take out whatever is the obstruction. Now, hot water will actually soften the walls because it becomes like an oil. And so oil does not clean very easily with cold water. It softens better with hot water. So the best way to do it, pour a heap of hot water down there. So I use that jug in the video and pour it down. And that the left side drain, which is my wife's side, it's a double basin, that would always clog up. And because she's always putting product down there. With me, I'm brushing my teeth and washing my hands. That's all I'm doing in there. Okay. So, so my side was actually, that was the second one I did in the drain. That was pretty easy. I didn't have to do much with that. But on my wife's side, it's just got so much product down there. So I took out that trap and cleaned it and fixed it and then cleaned it out. And that really worked really well, because once I poured down the baking powder and the hot water and the vinegar and hot water, wow, it just flowed beautifully. And I was surprised because I actually never used it before. I knew about it, but I had never used it. I just cleaned the drains out. But I think you need to do both steps, clean the drains and also use the baking powder that takes off that residue of all those products.
Can I ask a question? And potentially there's a question that's coming through in the live chat. In your original video, Musa, on the how to fix smelly drains, which again, you can go back and watch. In your first floor waste, you are obviously moving the first time, taking out some of the hair follicles in there, but you had some PPEs, you had some gloves.
You got to wear your gloves.
What's the importance of the gloves?
What's bacteria in there? Yeah. I mean, bacteria is not good. So you really need to clean your hand. I mean,
don't go with your bare hands, essentially.
I've done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. It's always good to just be cautious. But very easy fix. And I've got to say that video was inspired in a moment. As you know, I was struggling to make some videos after my operation, and I was thinking of how can I make an easy video. And I thought, why didn't I think of this before? It's like one of the major problems people have in bathrooms. And so I made that video off just a thought. And I made it probably in 2 days. Usually my videos take me 2 weeks.
I think what's also interesting on that video is you stipulate how that's only within a certain couple of months. So there might be bathrooms, and I'll put my hand up too. There might be bathrooms up there that might be years that have not been thoroughly cleaned, washed. As I said before, Saturday, Sunday is best time. If you have some time, go to the bathrooms, try to look at the floor waste, and it needs to be cleaned. It's just the best opportunity. Hence why we're here to discuss some of the possibilities, solutions that Moose has alluded to with baking powder and vinegar. And I also noticed you have a hose.
Yeah.
So there are some households where you can't obviously bring the hose in, but then there are which you can remove the fly screen.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea. I didn't realize that's such a good idea to have some pressure going down.
Yeah, you need to wash it down. You need to get the hose all the way down. But the second best thing is getting a full bucket and just tip it down. It's just going to make a mess, and load that bucket up fully and tip it quickly into there, and that'll push it down. Because depending on the length of your drain, it's got to push down past the trap and then come back up and over. So you need a lot of pressure to push that through. So you can imagine if you don't take all the blockages out, it just won't have the pressure to push it through. Not without really struggling. So I had Gary, another mate of mine, say if you live on the second level, second story, how do you do it? With a bucket. He was being smart, but very funny, Gary. Anyway, but if you do have a second story, you'll find most bath traps or shower traps, there is an access panel. And if you don't have one, you can put one in quite easily, and that way you can actually get to your drain. Now, when it's on the second level, it's not just a series of 90-degree bends or whatever to make a trap, which that's what plumbers do in the ground for concrete. But usually they will put actually a removable waste on the upper level, and that's actually where you can use a HEPA valve if you're having problems. I would only use a HEPA valve really if you've got no other solution. The best solution is having just a trap. Yeah, it is the best solution. But also in the video, I mentioned that if you don't use a bathroom for a period of time, they will dry out and then smells will come out. So usually when you don't use a bathroom for a long period and you go into that room and it stinks, it's purely because there's no water in those drains. And it's an easy fix. Just put some water down there, turn the taps back on. And so all floor wastes are usually charged by this basin. So the basin will charge the floor waste. The shower, obviously the water in the shower will drain that, and the bath, just run the bath for a minute. So yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Can I ask a question, Mr. For, again, similar, someone might... Joe's asked a question too, and I'll come back. Yeah, no problem. Joe next. So in your video, again, fantastically well illustrated, the first focus was the floor waste, which is great. Then the next focus was on the basin, on the actual trap underneath the cabinet, which a lot of people don't kind of look at the obvious, is that you actually have to now go below the cabinet, open up the cabinet, look at the floor waste, twist the L shape, and it could probably explain the importance of the actual trap underneath the basin. It's so simple. Basically, just undoing the traps on both bottom and top end, and just take it out. And it depends on whether it's a P trap or an S trap, but most basins are an S trap. So an S meaning it's a shape of an S, a P meaning that it's just either sideways or downwards, but with an angle coming into the wall. So it depends which trap you've got, but all traps need to be cleaned. So, so it is very easy. Seriously, very, very easy. Because I noticed, and I'll let you jump on to Joe, I noticed when I removed mine recently and this is like, you just don't notice it to your point. Once you separate it, take it outside, the junk that comes out of the L shape, the bend of the S trap, you realize that there's so much things that accumulated after that over months, if not years, that it just, it removes itself, and it's a nice fresh clean that goes through. And one thing to take note, 40 mil traps, it's not very big. Okay, that's an inch and a half roughly. Roughly, it's probably. Let me just do the calculation. Yeah, it's roughly 1.5 inches. Okay, so kitchen and laundries are 50 mil traps. So generally they're not going to get clogs as much as a basin or a bathtub. So bathtubs and basins, bathroom basins or powder rooms are a 40 mil trap. Okay, so yeah, you usually will have to fix a basin trap before any other. Now, Joe's got a question. So is it better to use vinegar or bleach so the actual word is vinegar or bleach better for getting rid of mold in bathrooms? Thank you very much, Joe. Actually, it's one of my questions. I have a list of questions that I need to answer. Okay, in the video, you see me using the squeegee. Now, we only use a squeegee. Literally, we do not use any chemicals in our bathroom at all. So if mold does grow, and it'll grow in any wet area that's moist, and if you've got enough product there, it will grow. Okay, so it's enough food for it to grow. So what we do, we use a sponge and just with some soft soap, maybe dishwashing liquid, and wash those areas where it's a little bit starting to come up. But we use the squeegee to against the 90-degree either the wall or the floors, and we just squeegee across those. That way we're not damaging the silicone, because when mold grows under silicone, it'll get underneath all the way through, and then the silicone will start to peel off. So that's why it's good not to put any bleachers, because that does the exact same thing. It eventually will damage the silicone. It'll get under and it'll break the silicone off. So Joseph, I would definitely not use any bleachers in a bathroom at all, not even in the toilet. Just manual labor. Just use a toilet brush, bit of soap, clean it up. And some people use that Jif, that liquid Jif.
Yeah, you get them from Woolies.
Okay, that is really dangerous, that stuff.
Yeah.
Because what women do, they put it in, or men, whatever, they clean it, they flush the toilet, and part of that Jif is still staying there, and it's a residue that sits on the bottom. And if you leave it, it actually becomes like a rock. It sits on the bottom and it just builds up more and more and more, and you have to break it off, and I've had experience of that. So better not to even use that. Seriously, soft soaps are definitely better than bleachers and Jifs and all that type of thing. I'm just not a fan of bleachers.
No, good answer. And also, just on that point, is that in your video, you illustrate by using the actual squeegee. So if those who want to go back and watch that video and see exactly in demonstration mode what Musa just alluded, is that you can actually see the squeegee's scenario and how that works, in the implication and the application.
Thanks, George. And for anyone, any new viewers just come on, thanks very much for joining us. So this is Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions live chat. This is Chicken Nugget, good friend of mine.
Well, love the background. That's not Photoshop. That's
real, by the way. That is real. Real
background.
Yeah. So this is 37.5 acres, and a lot of videos are shot here. As I said, I am restricted, so I do work from home. I do my YouTubing from home. I do sometimes do videos outside of home when I need to. There will be a video shot in the next, I don't know when exactly, but in the near future with Joseph Suka. He's got some timber decking that's on a barbecue area. Now, I've rung Feast Watson, who's owned by Dulux, and I've spoken to a guy there, and he said, mate, you never put timber next to barbecues. Now, a bit of a problem there. I'll have to put a disclaimer, but so we're going to actually redo that decking on that barbecue area and put a disclaimer that you shouldn't be doing what we're doing. But he doesn't want to rip up his timber. I personally wouldn't. We're just going to be cautious. Joe's very good at cooking, and he doesn't, spill his oils all over the place, the fats, and it looks pretty good. But the paint that's on there now, it's actually a varnish, a lacquer, and it's peeling off, and the timber's going grey. So what we're going to do there is use a belt sander and just take all that off. Start again, and we're going to put an oil on. Now, again, it's not recommended by Feast Watson, Dulux, but we're going to do it in a way where it's protected. Oil is always better outside than lacquer. Remember that. Lacquer is not good outside. The guy from Dulux saying that maximum you'll get with lacquer on the outside is 3 years, maximum. That's if you're lucky. If you're on the north side where you get sun all day, he said probably within a year you'll have problems.
It's a good answer. Got some people coming through.
Joseph saying he purchased a house like that. Okay. But I believe you painted it 2 years ago. Is that right, Joseph? Just wait for the answer. Yep. Anyway, so that's good. So we're just going to rip it and just do it again. And as I said, I don't think it's a big. Okay, Joseph said yes. Okay, so it's 2 years and it's already peeling and it's looking grey again. So, pardon me, the fella from Dulux was correct. He said maximum you'll get is 3 years, and this area gets full sun, and it's a bench for the barbecue area.
Yeah, definitely. It's US viewers. It's nighttime. It's I think amazing technology. I have to go and bring this up because when I was on the radio station, we take for granted that we're actually here in Sydney, Australia, but people around the world could be listening.
Yeah,
all around different time zones. So
I'd like to thank all the viewers actually from America. I'm getting a lot of responses from good and bad, but mainly good, like 95% good. The bad are coming just from people who just don't know how to be nice. But I think you'll get that anywhere. And it's mainly about my mower, my Razorback mower. I've done a shorts video on the Razorback mower, and it's probably going to hit 20,000 in the next day or two in hits. It's becoming very popular, as so is Absco sheds, Easy sheds, my brewing videos. But some other videos are actually taken off now too. So one of my sewing videos is taken off now. These things take a little bit of time, and that's why I ask for more subscribers, more views, more if you can share, if you can like, because it does help the algorithm. So my type of presenting is not going to be for everyone, but I think, as Giuseppe says a lot of the time, and Korga, I haven't seen Korga on. He might be on, but they both respond regularly, and so my videos are a analytically designed step-by-step video for people who pretty much know what they want to do. They've got abilities, and they just need that little hint to make things a bit easier and work a bit easier.
No. I have to say this officially and formally: all your videos, from a layman's perspective, but also from a technical perspective, it's all viewable, watchable, rewatchable. And I love how, again, you can switch it on if you want to start from scratch, if you want to approach something, whether it's the beer, it's the Lebanese sweets, the Bambuli, whether it's the decking, the concrete, whether it's the sheds. It's easy to watch. And that's probably the key thing, is that you go straight to what needs to be done. You explain it really well. And that's probably what we need now, is you get straight to the point.
George.
And it's fantastic. So like I said to Musa before, and I'll say it now, subscribe, like, hit the notification, and support the channel.
Thanks, George. Actually, I've got to attribute some of the things that I do is because it was brought to my attention by Anthony English. Now, Anthony will be on this live chat in the near future. So I will be releasing the video on how to make videos very soon. I had a lot of problems with my equipment, and I couldn't find the information on how to use them properly. And so it's a DJI equipment. And anyway, so I was losing videos that I was making, actually losing the shots. Anyway, so I've discovered what the problems are. So I'll be making a video on that, and then I'm going to bring Anthony English on a live chat, who has been instrumental in those little pointers. Remembering my background is marketing, so the marketing point, the talking point. I have a soft sell background, so I use that to my advantage in my videos, understanding to explain things to people, and also Anthony was just instrumental just to show me. So timestamps, what George was saying, is alluding to that when you're watching the video, some people don't want to watch the whole video, especially, say for example, someone who's into sewing. The sewing video I did with how to use a Butterex pattern, that went for 34 minutes. Now, Anthony English, from the very beginning, from the onset, got me to do what they call timestamps. He actually did my first one. And so I use timestamps. So when you're watching the videos, you don't have to watch it all. And I'm not asking you to. Sometimes it can be a little boring doing something or watching something that you're really not interested in. But there might be something in that video in the timestamp, if you look under the timestamp, that might catch your interest. And so the timestamps are the biggest thing. So if you look at the Absco shed, because I'm in the backroom studio all the time, I see that the biggest hit section of the timestamp is how to put a door together. People struggle on that. And I get a lot of positive feedback from and there's a lot of comments on that. I mean, incredible amount of comments from people in Australia, and I think from overseas as well. I'm not sure where they're coming from, and a lot of people thanking me. One particular person the other day, and thank you very much for that, he made a point that I haven't got much close-ups. The Absco shed was my second video shared, and 100% correct. The third video I made, even though it wasn't in the sequence of release, was Joseph Suka's Easy Shed. So I was just starting to learn to do close-ups. So I'm improving more and more on my close-ups and becoming more conscious of that, because you guys want to see what I'm actually talking about. And I will perfect that and get better and better at it. And that's why I'm going to do that video on the DJI equipment. So that's coming up very soon.
So a bit of a cheers to Anthony English for the timestamp. And
other things. He's been instrumental in a lot of things. That's why I'm going to have him on about how you can improve your YouTubing.
I've got to say, when it comes to YouTube, where there is timestamps, I think speaking to a lot of colleagues and friends, it's one of the things that they love, is they can break down what they want to look at and just go straight to the key points, or they want to look at the whole thing. Great. So I've got to say cheers to that. And also, and I shouldn't be doing this, but I know we have some sweets here, which we don't really want to go to waste, which Musa has kindly made.
This was made after the last video, so these are not the same Namuda. The others are gone. They were gone instantly. So anyway, I still haven't changed my elements. I've still got to fix the oven. I've got Nicholas in the background who's going to come and give me a hand. So anyway, they're a little bit cooked, but that's fine. I've got to change my elements. Anyway, cheers, George.
Cheers. So excuse if this whole plate goes missing in the next 5, 10, 20 minutes. They are too delicious, nice and sweet.
But he didn't eat one.
I had wine, but yeah, it was fantastic. I was having the coffee too. I love it. But yeah, just
Anthony wrote a comment
on the timestamps.
Yeah,
we're just talking about the timestamps and the importance of it.
He was just saying that it's easy to use on the mobile, and he said that it's in the descriptions area, just in case people don't use timestamps. So if you go in the description when you're watching the video, press descriptions and it'll come up, and I think it lists sideways, and you just choose which one is more appropriate. So you just touch that picture that has the title of that timestamp, and it takes you straight to that section of the video. So it really is helpful.
There was a question from Joe Suka. He asked at the top, if I can scroll later, he asked, I think it was more cheek and tongue. He asked, who is Chicken Nugget and why Chicken Nugget, the name? I think that was the question you were going to ask.
Yes.
I saw a question, and that shall remain a mystery, but no. I'll look, with that going into too much, I'll love to eat it soon. I'll have one really shortly. I think all of us, probably more Mediterranean, but more Middle Eastern. But I've always loved chicken when I was young, and it's kind of a favorite dish. Actually, I had chicken last night for dinner before I had a movie night. But in terms of nugget, I've also loved nugget. When I was young, I used to have some nuggets, whether it was McDonald's, KFC nuggets, just nuggets. And I've always had a fascination to both. And I thought, you know what? I just call myself Chicken Nugget. It's just both. So, but look, I'm keeping myself on the diet to make sure it goes well. But Chicken Nugget, definitely. That's where it comes from.
I'm a little worried about George because he keeps looking at my chickens in a strange kind of way.
Yeah, I can't find the nuggets, but I can definitely see the chickens
in there somewhere. But Joseph's asking the question: do I know any other Lebanese sweets? Yes, I do. And Mahmoud is one of them.
I love that. That's my favorite.
So George will be my taste tester when I make that video in the future. Won't be. I've got a list of videos I wrote down the other day that I'd like to make for this year, and I went over the list. I mean, there's so many videos I want to make, and they're ready to go to start filming. So I've just got to do one at a time. This coming Friday, so next week, the video I'm releasing is how to use a slasher on a tractor. So again, my videos are very diverse and they cover a large range. And so we have an easement, and the easement is usually looked after by Transgrid. But Transgrid, if they see you maintaining yourself, they actually don't come back and maintain. So I've sort of got myself into a bit of a bind when I had my back problem. So I stopped mowing, I think, around about May last year, and then my back went out on me in September. and so I wasn't able to mow, and the grass grew taller and taller, and the grass is African love grass predominantly, which is a really hard grass to cut in that easement area, not anywhere else. Usually kikuyu is where I like to grow because I have a lot of allergies, and kikuyu is the least, what's the word, allergic?
Allergic, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At least, yeah.
Which is, I believe kikuyu is an African grass, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so the African love grass grew pretty tall in some areas, like 1 meter high, so just over 3 foot. And so I bought a slasher, secondhand slasher, to put as an attachment to my tractor. And so this is going to be a 3-part or 3-stage series. First of all, I'm showing how to cut slash that African love grass. The second is how to fix that easement, because the contours are all over the place and it's really hard for me to mow, and there's a lot of rocks in that area which damaged my Razorback mower and hence cost me $400 to change the blades. So that's why I didn't go back and mow it, because I can only use a bigger machine. So I'm going to fix the contours. Then the third video is actually showing how nice that looks and pretty much how this area here looks, which is hard to see on screen. That's the next coming video. But there's a lot more coming, very diverse. There is a lot more building videos coming, so painting, and another drain video will be coming in the future as well. I had Simon ask me with the pop-up wastes, how do you fix those if they're not popping back up? Okay, so I'll do a video on that.
I actually had the same scenario last week. Mine wouldn't pop up.
Yeah.
I won't explain how I fixed it, but I'll let you explain it. But that's a common thing.
Well, you're the beast. I mean, what do you use, a hammer and a chisel? And
W40. Yeah. Actually, just on that, in terms of subjects and future themes, it wouldn't hurt to put it onto the comments if you have some comments and feedback of potential future topics that
that'd be good.
Go. So there's some commentary that we can put through as a litany. But yeah, definitely some good ideas and good topics that are rolling through.
Yeah. So we're just about to finish up. So I'm just going to ask if there's any more questions. So just if you can just post them now, so I'm really enjoying making these videos. I've got to be honest, they are a bit of a struggle. I did actually injure myself making the last video, and so I wasn't able to do any filming for about 2.5 weeks. So I've got to be very careful and just got to be mindful that everything's got to be done in a certain way. Anyway,
if I could just add my final points, officially, thank you, Musa, for putting me on. It's a fantastic Saturday morning out here in Sydney, and for those around the world, whether it's evening, afternoon, a g'day and a shout out to all those. Just for those who want to go back and just watch the theme topic on how to fix a smelly drain, and how we discussed the point of some of the solutions, and obviously the solution I mentioned before, about which was the waterless trap, which is from Hepvo. You will see the link below from Amazon, and the importance of a membrane airtight seal when you have no other option. So that's, again, you'll see it in the video that Musa explained really well. And don't forget, I've got to say it, subscribe, like, keep the notifications.
Thanks, guys. So just had a couple of more people come on. So this is Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions. We're just about to finish up. If there are any questions, I'm going to ask if you can just post them now. So probably got about another 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So this we're talking about smelly bathroom drains, and we will put a link below for that. And also, forgot to mention, this is my new long sleeve shirt, because we are coming into winter, and I do look like Anthony from the Wiggles, not the face, just the shirt, and forget about that. Anyway, but it is very comfortable, so I've got a link on that for that as well.
It's a fantastic shirt. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's good quality. It
is very good quality. It's very warm.
Yeah,
I like it. Georgia will be back on with me on a beer tasting live chat. Sorry, a beer tasting live chat in probably about 2 months. So we're going to be tasting the honey mead, also the other 2 brews, and I've just recently made another brew.
I love it.
Which is going to be a secret.
I love it, love it, love it.
And so we'll be tasting, 4 different brews, and I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, I'm just looking at the time. I'm very conscious of it. Don't want to go too late. I've got a question here. Looking forward to the beer tasting music. Excellent. Thanks, Giuseppe. The one last thing, there is a video coming up on incubating chicks. I haven't started that yet, but I am using a new incubator. I'm going to be doing a review on an Italian style Barotto incubator, and I'll get very good views on that. Reviews on that, and I'm really looking forward to see how that thing performs. So I'm looking forward to it. And Joseph's saying thank you to Chicken Nugget, and I want to say thank you personally to Chicken Nugget, good friend of mine.
I love it. Thanks, Mister. Thanks for the invite. It's a pleasure and an honour to be on.
Anthony English is just asking one last question. What date will you hit 1,000 subscribers? Tomorrow.
You're going high. The subscribers are going high.
It's going faster.
We'd be surprised it'll be soon.
The percentage rate is going actually much higher now, the percent rate of subscribers. So this is becoming an income for me, or will be once we go to 1,000 subscribers. YouTube will monetize us, and I'm looking for affiliate links, and also we'll be doing reviews on products and get sponsorships and all that type of thing. So this is just the beginning. But thank you all for helping in that, and I do ask that if you please share the videos and like and subscribe. Anyway, thanks guys, and I'll see you on the next video next Friday.
See you guys.
Thanks guys.